Welcome back to D&D After Hours. It's your girl Destiny Nathasia, and tonight this is one for the people who have ever whispered through tears, God, why me? Again, God, why me? I mean, there's been plenty of times where I've said that too, more than once. Sometimes it was just a cry, sometimes it was frustration, sometimes it was just a whisper that only God could hear in the dark. There were seasons in my life where it felt like everything and everyone I loved got stripped away. Friendships faded, love turned into heartbreak, dreams that I prayed for, doors that I thought God opened, slammed right in my face. And I remember sitting there one night, staring at the ceiling, feeling empty and saying, God, if you love me, why does this hurt so bad? Why do every single time I cry myself to sleep at night, I'm thinking that it's me and not them? Why do I feel insecure all the time? Why? Again, tell them that it's human nature type of vibe, but at the same time, I don't want to know that it's human nature, okay? I didn't want to hear no scriptures in the moment. I didn't want no advice. I just wanted understanding. That's all I wanted. What I need from you is understanding. Type of vibe, that's all I wanted, But you see, people will tell you, trust God's plan, but what they won't say is how hard that it really is when you're in the middle of the storm. When your prayers seem to bounce off the ceiling, when you can't feel His presence and everything in you wants to give up. But I've learned something through those why me moments. It's not that God isn't listening, it's that He's working. And sometimes what looks like rejection is really redirection. Sometimes what feels like a delay is just protection. Looking back, I realized if God had given me everything I wanted, and I mean everything I wanted, I would have settled for less than what He had given me. I would have stayed in rooms where I didn't belong, loved people who couldn't love me back right, and chased validation instead of peace. But something about God, y'all. Something about God on this wonderful, marvelous Sunday. God loved me too much to let me stay where I wasn't growing. So He broke my comfort to build my character. He took people out of my life to make room for the ones He handpicked. He let certain doors close, not because I wasn't worthy, but because He knew the weight behind those doors wouldn't have crushed me. Maybe tonight you're listening to this and you're in the same space, feeling forgotten, unseen, maybe even angry with God. I just want to tell you, He's not punishing you. He's preparing you. You might not see it now, but the pain you're feeling has purpose. The heartbreak is teaching you boundaries. The disappointment is teaching you endurance. The waiting season is growing your faith. When I cried out, why me? What I really meant was, why do I have to be strong again? But every single time God whispered back, because you can handle what they couldn't. It's been so many times that I've sat back in my room. It might have even been times where I could have been out with family, I could have been out with friends, and it's like, even if I don't cry physically, it's like I'm crying spiritually, because it's just like, why do I have to continue to be this person that has to be on the front line, being the strongest soldier there ever was? And, oftentimes God be like, why not you? They wouldn't even be able to make it a mile if I were to put them in the same position that you're in now. You can be able to make it out quicker than they possibly can. I'm just saying. He didn't say it proudly like He wanted to hurt me, but He said it gently like a father who knew my strength before I did. And that's when I realized the very thing that I thought was breaking me was actually building me. It was shaping my voice, my empathy, my faith, and all the things I needed for this exact moment. So if you're in this season that doesn't make sense, if you're praying and not seeing results, if you feel like God forgot your name, I promise you He didn't. He's just writing your story differently. And And when I mean differently, your story could be different from somebody else's. We are all walking this marathon, you guys, called life. And the thing is that I can't walk down the same road that you can. You can't walk down the same road that I can. Maybe, my road is a little bit moist, pause, but your road, it may be, hell's fire. I don't know, but we got different things going on in our race, in our marathon, where we're both trying to get to the same destination, but we just taking different routes to get there. Now there may be some way along that marathon where we may all meet up in the middle. We may all congregate with one another, maybe talk about what the world we done been through. Be like, bruh, I went through some snakes. I went up the hill, came down the hill. I went in a full 360 circle, got lost, came back around that 360 circle, bust a left, then bust a right, and now I'm here. Whereas somebody else was, just saying, hey, I just took a straight shot. I ain't bust no left, no right, no nothing. It was just a straight clean shot for me, but I had to run into some honeybees. I ran into a bear after that. Then I ran into a raccoon. Then I ran into a skunk. And then I had to say hello to a dolphin. I don't know. But everybody's road is totally different from everybody else's. He's setting things up behind the scenes that you cannot see. And one day, you'll look back and say, this is exactly why. Sometimes people have to look back on the things that they went through to just, I wouldn't even say admire that moment, but to be able to look back and say, thank you. Because you could have stayed there. You could have rot there. You could have settled for whatever the cost may have been, for whatever career it could have been. You could have settled, but instead you got up and you just kept going. We literally listened to a whole sermon today about how Abraham, before his name was even changed, how his father settled. But whenever God changed Abram's name to Abraham, he told Abraham to get up and go. Abraham didn't even know where he was going. And he just walked. He was just waiting on God to say, you know what, here it is. But through all of that, he just kept the faith. And was just like, you know what, wherever God takes me, that's where I'm going to go. And sometimes we got to get into that mindset of knowing that if God were to tell you to get your stuff, pack all your stuff up and go, we got to do it. Because the thing is that I honestly could ask y'all the same question. Be like, if God told you to pick up your stuff and go, the first thing that y'all would say is, where we going? But the thing is you can't question what God has for you. Because literally, then again, God has written our story. He knows what our life was going to be like whenever we were formed in our mother's womb. So therefore, it's almost kind of like, do you not have trust in the one that created you? I'm just saying. I'm talking to the people in the front and in the back, maybe in the middle too. But I'm talking to you. I'm trying to get you to understand something, okay? But not only that, people have to understand that's why friends left. That's why certain things didn't work out. That's why you had to be alone. But it wasn't because God wasn't punishing you. And he wasn't punishing me. But he was positioning us for a greater purpose. Okay? So tonight, if why me is still on your heart, don't silence it. Talk to God. Cry if you need to. Baby, I cry. I scream. I get upset sometimes. I get overwhelmed. I get frustrated. Because it's just like, I have all this up here. And even though I can talk to my friends, and my friends may understand what I go through and things of that nature, and my family may understand what I go through and stuff like that, but it's nothing like talking to God and having that conversation with him, because guess what? He knows about all things. He knows when we're going to cry, how we going to cry. Child, I know I cry ugly to God every single time. I be getting to that point sometimes, and I'm sorry, I got to throw a joke in there, but I be feeling like sometimes whatever I get ready to go pray, and God be seeing me, get ready to bow my head, he be like, close the curtains. Like, he closed the curtains in heaven. He just like, hold on, this. Wait, let me get myself together. And then he opened them back up like, I'm just playing with you. But even then, I'm glad that God is that type of God to be able to incline his ear to hear my tears, to hear the anger and the frustrations. But not only that, the word says to cast all your cares upon him. And that's what I have to do daily. And I think that's the reason why I pray so much, and I ask God to give me the spirit of patience, to give me the spirit of knowledge, to give me the spirit of discernment. Because sometimes it gets to a point in life where sometimes people, things, they tend to frustrate my grace. And sometimes I have to, I have to be a woman about it, and I have to just be like, you know what, okay. Or sometimes I don't say nothing at all, and that's what really scares folks. Because, sometimes God isolates you from people for a reason. And sometimes in that isolation, people can't stand it. And you got some people who say, oh, I'll support your isolation. It's okay. Take your time. Do whatever you need to do. But after a certain period of time, they just like, okay, now you're being weird. No, it's not me being weird. It's that I'm going through a process and you can't come with me. Not everybody can go with you. I'm just letting you know now. I'm going to say it again for the people in the back, in the middle, and in the front. Not everybody can go with you to where you need to get. There are some things, there are some blessings that God is trying to give to you. But the thing is there may be people in your circle. There may be family in your circle. There may be people in your ear that is being that anchor inside of your life that's saying, yeah, you should go for it, but... And it's just like, but what? When God's telling you, okay, look, I need you to go here. I need you to go there. You're probably going to talk to this elderly man who's finna tell you something. Then if you go down the street, make a left, make another right, then bust that left one more time, you're going to see what I have given you and all that I have to offer. Let me tell you something. Abraham didn't just get up and go to wherever he was supposed to go to. But the thing is that he knew that there was going to be something given to him on the other side. He was going to receive an inheritance. Baby, if that don't make you shout, if that don't make you catch a goosebumps, or as my aunt would call it, chicken meat. She called it chicken meat, y'all. But if you don't catch that, I don't know what you gonna catch. But I'm trying to look for my inheritance. I'm trying to look for what God has for me, because I can't sit here and look to the left and to the right thinking and expecting that people are going to be traveling with me down this road that I call life. Because even though I do have friends that are going to be rooting for me on the sidelines, being the cheerleaders, being all that, to me, that is cool, that is fine, that is perfect. But at the end of the day, it starts with me. I got to be the one to say, you know what? I'm going to get up and I'm going to keep moving. And one day when I have all the things that I've dreamed of, all the things that I've spoken to existence, I'm going to look back over my life and be able to say, God, you brought me this far. That's why, some people, like the old folks in the church, they always be like, you don't look like what you've been through. And I'm glad I don't look like what I've been through, because, honey, I be tore up from the floor up. I don't even think I'll be black anymore. I feel like I'll probably be purple or something. Baby, I'll be bruised, honey. I feel like, I'll look a mess. But, then again, you gotta talk to God. Again, cry if you need to. And when you're done crying, you gotta thank him in advance. You gotta thank him for what is here, what is to come, and what is already on the way. Sometimes you gotta thank God for what you don't have, because once you start getting into that place and in that mindset of, God, I know that I don't have it right now, but you finna bless me, and it may not be a few days, but I know that you gonna bless me in the time that I'm gonna be here on this earth. But I'm just gonna thank you in advance for that new car. I'm gonna thank you in advance for a new house. I'm gonna thank you in advance for having financial stability. Like, you gotta put that out into the atmosphere. Do not put anything negative out there. The power of life and death lies in the power of your tongue. You got to be careful what you release into the atmosphere. You got to, people. Got to. Again, because one day you're going to see that the storm didn't destroy you, but it built the man or the woman you were always meant to become. Always meant to become. God didn't come into this world, or God didn't send his son to come into this world to heal the sick, to heal the blind man, to heal the woman who had an issue with blood. He didn't go in there flipping tables and stuff for no reason, y'all. It was a reason. It was a purpose behind everything. He didn't go and talk to Noah. He didn't go and have to talk to the Apostle Paul. He didn't go and have to talk to Peter and talk to all these people. He did not have to do it. But there was a reason. It wasn't always the strongest ones. It was always the ones that were like me. The ones who were feeling like all hope was lost, and God was literally saying, no, you're the chosen. We are peculiar people. We're very different. We stand out. And I like to stand out. But back then I didn't like to. I didn't want to feel different from everybody else. I wanted to be with everybody else. But the moment that I knew that everybody could not accept me for who I was, I had to learn that I had to get around some people that were like me. I had to get around some people that understood what I understood. But even then, sometimes I had to do it by myself, and that was okay. I hated it though, but I had to understand, type of vibe. But at the end of the day, this too shall pass. This storm that you may be currently in, that I currently may be in, that mama, daddy, grandma, grandpa, whoever is listening under the sound of my voice, whatever you're going through, go to God in prayer. And I promise you, again, weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. It's something about joy. He didn't leave it at weeping may endure for a night. He didn't just put a period at the end of that. No, he said weeping may endure for a night, but joy gonna come in the morning. It's okay to cry, but don't stay there too long. It's okay to be hurt, but don't stay there too long. It's okay that you lost a friend, but don't stay there too long. Because guess what? On the other side of all that hurt, all that pain, all that suffering, on the other side, God may bless you with some friends that you ain't never thought ever existed in your world. God may bless you with a man or a woman that you ain't never thought existed in this world that we call Earth today. You just never know. That job that you've been looking for, you wanted to sing, you wanted to act, to dance, whatever career that you decide to take up, you just would be amazed by how that one thing, that pain, grieving, all those things, how it went from death to bringing back something that is of life. It's like a resurrection type of thing, It's a type of resurrection. I like that. I'm about to write that down. But thank you for spending this time with me on D&D After Hours. Sometimes faith isn't always understanding. It's about trusting, even when it hurts. And I promise you, what's coming next will make sense of everything that you've lost. So until next time, silence the noise, feel the truth, heal your soul. This is D&D After Hours with Destiny Nathasia. I'll call you back, and you better answer.